Hello, everybody. This is Krunal Nayak from My Australian Journey, and I welcome you all in today's episode. Today's guest is very special. He is a TEDx speaker, ex student in Australia, and currently a videographer and a photographer. So, I would like to welcome Mr. Bikesh Lal Shrestha. Hello, Bikesh. How are you today?
Krunal, I'm all good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for joining and taking precious time out of your busy schedule. It's a
hmm
pleasure having you on our podcast, and thank you so much again for joining. So, before we
Thank
get
you for inviting
started,
me. Mhm.
we wanted to know could you please introduce yourself to our audience? Who is Bikesh Lal Shrestha?
All right, so I am a guy from Nepal. I grew up and almost spent almost 25 years of my life there. Then I
Mm-hmm.
came here in 2018 as an international student, and I actually have a degree in civil engineering and master's in management for engineers. But my hobby or my passion has always been in the creative side. So I am doing that career change right now, and I'm trying to establish my own business named Lensography. So I want to be a photographer, videographer, and a businessman instead of a civil engineer. So yeah, that's me.
Wow. Bikesh, tell us about your once you initially passed the first 3 or 6 months and you
hmm
started finish your struggling phase. How did you
hmm
start life back on the track? Like, okay, now I want to do this, I want to do that. What is the the life changing point that you got in your journey?
So that would be getting a job in the university. So
Mm-hmm.
I got this opportunity to work as a social innovation ambassador for the university. So it
Mm-hmm.
was a job where we had to apply, where you had to make videos and write. There's like a big process to apply for that job, which is very daunting for most people. But the thing that attracted me towards that job was there was this simple line written in the job description: be as creative as possible. And
Wow.
I was already making like vlogs and these kind of videos before, and that was very helpful to apply for that job. So instead of just making a video recording like this and telling them why they should hire me, I actually made like a short 1 minute short movie like why they should hire me, showing them
Mm.
what are the things I could do, what are the skills that I have. And I think that was one of the main point why I got hired. I also was working during the earthquake. I worked a lot volunteering. I did a lot of volunteering back home, so that was very helpful because the whole point they were trying to hire a person who was actually interested in helping out, in working out in the sectors where they are having social impact. Social innovation basically means coming up with innovation to solve the social issues that we have around in the world. So that job actually changed everything because being in
Mm.
that job somehow got me access to the people in the university, showed me things that were beyond what normally general students would see. Because as I said before, you come here, you work odd jobs, you get limited to the people from your own surrounding and own circle, and you never grow out of that. But getting in that job, it was actually a feeling of a proud moment for me, thinking that okay, I'm doing something better. I'm not trying to say this in a like arrogant way or anything, but that moment was something for me which was like I'm doing something actually better than the average people out there, average students out there. So there was that proud feeling, and I wasn't limited to just that job. Once I got that job, I explored everything inside the university. So I was not only limited to that particular job. I went into mental health, I went into student services, ABCs, campus life committee, whatever opportunities were there. I actually explored all of them, and the job was one of the reasons why that happened. Anyone can do that. There are plenty of
Mm.
opportunities in the university. Like for me, I didn't get a scholarship, but the universities have paid more than scholarship for me in my travels and accommodations. That much how
Wow.
much I have like utilized the services of the university. So those things are available there. It's just that students get so much involved in their job and study and the hectic life out there. They just don't want to look into those opportunities. But somehow, because I got that job, I was able to see those opportunities and actually go out there and grab them. So from that point, everything changed. Like I could see the kind of opportunities that were available here in Australia. I could see the opportunity by the university they gave me, and I was just out there grabbing all of them one by one as much as I can. And
Hmm.
that's how it just
Okay.
changed. My mindset changed. I throughout those periods, it was a really fun period because I got a lot of opportunities to interact with the students, help them out, and I love this, like inspiring others, motivating others to get out of their circle, get out their comfort zone, and actually try and grab that opportunity. So it was a great opportunity for me, and that actually changed everything.
That's great. We will talk about your life in Australia a little later in the
Uh,
podcast. But initially, we're
mm,
just talking about the migration. So, how was the migration process for you? Let's say it's converting your student visa into permanent resident
mm.
visa. Was that smooth enough, or was it a bumpy ride?
It depends on how you think about it, I guess, because there were times where I used to have panic attacks just thinking about what am I going to do now. W- if I don't get a permanent residency, what will I do? But that's just me because I was just
Mm.
panicking, overthinking things. It was, if as far as I think of it in a retrospective now, it's like I finished my studies. Even then, I wasn't thinking about getting a permanent residency. So as I said, I came here just to explore. I had no intention of staying here or doing anything. But
Right.
I just finished my studies. Then I was like, yeah, let's just apply for this and see how it works. So
Okay.
I did my skill assessment. Then I did my PT, NATI within a year after finished my studies and applied for it. But I was just worrying about. Then I think after 1 year from finishing my studies, that's when I started to worry. Like, okay, I only have like 1 year left now. Like, what am I going to do
On
if
your
I don't
485
get a?
visa, right? On your
Yeah,
TR.
while I was
So
in a
after studying, you
yeah,
got
while
your
I
TR. Yeah.
yep. So I got that. I applied for that. I got that, and I actually did that all on my own. We like
Oh,
you don't need to go to a migration agent to do all of this. It's just that we are so scared and fearful that we might not get that. We go
what
to
are you
them.
talking about, Bikesh? You just closing your businesses or what?
I'm sorry for that, man. I'm sorry for that. I know. I'm sorry for that. But it's basically like you can do
Yeah.
it by yourself. I applied my permanent residency myself. I applied my residency myself. I applied for my parents'
Good.
visa myself. So it's just that people are afraid and scared that they might do a mistake and they won't be able to do that. Also, sometimes people are just lazy. They just don't want to go to the whole process of looking into the documents and this and that and everything. And it's
Exactly.
much easier for
Exactly.
them just to pay someone else to do that. It's just
Hmm.
me who's like, "Yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens." Because even for
Yeah.
permanent residency, when I applied, there were some documentation that were wrong. So they told me to
Hmm.
send in the right documents. I sent them, and that was solved. But somehow we're
Yeah.
so scared and fearful that we don't do that. But yeah, so that was the process. Permanent residency. I applied for it. I just got anxious and anxiety about I don't know what to do or how to do. What happens if I don't get a visa? Should I start a business? Should I get a job? I tried to find civil engineering jobs like almost for a year or two. I tried my best. I applied for hundreds of jobs. I have the Excel sheet of like the jobs that I applied, but I didn't get
Wow.
those jobs. And there was a point during my TR where I was like, yeah, fuck this PR thing. I don't care about this. This is just giving me too much anxiety. I'll just try and do whatever I want to do. And that's when I started doing photography as a freelancer.
Hmm.
And that's how I started getting into this content creation industry, doing photography as a freelancing job. And I got my PR in 2021. In 2021, and when I
Mm-hmm.
got that, it was like, yeah, I got it. Nothing special.
Okay. Yeah,
Nothing.
that's it. Nothing
Nothing
changes, right?
changes. Nothing changes. Nothing is happening. It's just that I got a PR. Okay, no problem. Like it did the thing that I was so much panicking about and worried about. I got it, and I had no feelings for it. It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's
That's
not a
it.
big
You're
deal,
right.
you know. The
Absolutely right.
the
It's
most
nothing
you can
changes.
do is the most you can do is as soon as you finish your studies, get all of the skill assessment, NATI, PT, whatever, apply, lodge your EOI. That's all you can do. There's nothing
That's
much you
it.
can do more than
That's it.
that.
Yeah. The panicking doesn't make any sense, right?
Exactly. It's just me who used to panic.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you just mentioned about, let's say,
Mm,
getting migration agents. So let's talk about the migration agent. So, how you feel like the migration agents or the agent industry is
Mm.
influencing the student or damaging, I would say, the student industry. Do you have any words to say about
It's a
it?
good point. You use the word damaging because that is there. It's from both ways. The thing is that most students will blame that the migration agent didn't tell them this and that and everything. But how many times a week or a month are you meeting that migration agent? How much can
Mm,
they give you in that time? There is
mm,
limited, right? So you have to do
mm,
your own research too, and you can just blame those migration agents. But it's also the fact that, as I said before, too, migration agents are trying to send you to the university where they are going to get the most out of it. The more you pay, the
mm,
more benefits they get. There's also this thing that migration agents or the consultants have certain universities or certain courses they are linked to, and they're trying to send the students to that instead of what the students actually want. But
mm.
there's also a point that the student doesn't know what he wants, what he or she wants.
Exactly.
And that's much
Exactly.
easier for the migration agents to just send them to the place where they get the most money out of.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
that happening. So it's a request to guys like you that instead of just thinking about yourself, think about the future of that student he or she. That guy or gal doesn't know what to do or how to do. Please don't misuse that, you know.
Correct.
Try to help
Absolutely.
them instead of just trying to making a lot of bucks.
I think, but I just want to add one thing, just because of
Mm,
I know what you mean, but because of
mm,
the in our industry, what we call is the unregistered providers. So the
mm.
migration agent, being a migration agent, we have been trained and we have been, like we are designed to do migration, not education at all.
Yeah.
So those who are the migration agents doing education, they are like tempted to, this commission sort of thing, right? But
Mm,
the
mm,
absolute migration agent, like let's say someone who is a migration, I consider myself a migration agent, not an education
mm,
agent. So I don't
mm,
even look at a student visa. Like I don't do student
mm,
visas so far.
mm.
Visa part is for migration, but this
Yeah.
thing you're talking about, the admissions and all that, it's mostly the education agents, and that's
Yep.
where the knowledge gap comes in. Because they don't have knowledge about the migration. So like how you get
Mm,
migrated, and they just end up sending students in the wrong courses. And of course, you're saying that's
mm,
absolutely right. The commission is the most lucrative drive for the education agents to
mm.
misguide someone for the wrong career. Like I see some pharmacists coming to study public health, and I say,
Yeah.
why you want to study public health? You're a pharmacist, go to masters of pharmacy, right? So these sorts
Mm,
of things are happening, and I agree with that, and absolutely see, in the space there are, I don't blame everybody. Like there are some
mm,
providers who are genuine, and we respect them in the education industry as well. But yes, it's like the ratio of that bad apples is more than the good apples.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
I
It's a sad
absolutely
thing,
agree with,
man.
yeah, sad thing. Just for some bucks, you can't ruin someone's life, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
It's
tell us
also as
about
I said, like
yeah, yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
go
the
ahead.
students are they're very naive. Like people who come from like
Mm,
my country. I don't know how what it's like from India, but we are very naive. Like we have been living a very simple life back home, and we come here. I say that you should do your own research and you should be proactive too, but somehow we haven't been taught to do that from our very childhood. It was
mm.
just read the books, just jot down whatever it is, just memorize. The people who could memorize the best are the best students. They get the award. The rest of us are like failures and of no use. So coming from that's what happens, because we've been through that. And when you come
Absolutely,
here, you
absolutely.
are so much busy with life and everything that we don't have our mental. We are not just mentally acquired, prepared to like think through these things, go through this research and everything. And that's why we're going to these education agents to get help from them, hoping that they would put us in the right place, guide us to the right place. But yeah, the industry has been saturated
Unfortunately,
with so
no.
many bad apples. It's just
Yeah.
sad, man.
And I know what you're saying is like we have not been trained to think out of the box. Am I right? That's what
Mm.
you pointing
Yeah,
out
yeah,
towards.
exactly.
So, how you develop that thinking out of the box habit? And let's say you now study civil engineering, bachelor's and a master's, and now you are
Mm.
moving towards the photography. So what's the drive? How you decided, like, I just throw out those degrees, like not throwing out absolutely, but not working towards that career and moving to
Mm,
this career. What is the drive?
it's been a tough journey, man. Like, it took me almost 2 years to do this because I have only registered my business like past few months ago, and have been doing this, like trying to do this not full time, but trying to give all of my energy towards this instead of like thinking, because an year ago, let's say from now, I was still in confusion. Like, am I really going to give up on all of this degree and education and money I've spent so far to do this?
Hmm.
It took me 2 years to figure this out and just to
Wow.
decide that, okay, this is what I'm doing, nothing else. I'm just sticking to this. So it wasn't easy for me to figure out like doing this. The reason why I'm doing this would be the fact that I've lived almost half of my life. Let's say if I'm going to live up to 60, 70 on an average, I'm already 30 now. I've lived half of my years, half of my age doing things for my parents, for my society, not for myself, not doing the things actually I want to do. So
Hmm.
I can either stick to that, saying that, okay, I was born here, I was raised like this, and this is what I have, and do this and live half of my life just like that, or I could make the changes, or I could live the half of my life the way I want to, you know.
Wow.
And I think that's why I'm doing this, because I have of my life left, and I'm going to live it my way, without considering where I was born or how I was raised or what I was put into. Because even back home when I was there, I wanted to be a musician. I used to play good guitar, but I
Hmm.
couldn't do that because I was an engineer. Everyone was doing that, and engineering
Hmm.
was the best safe career out there, and that's what I did, giving up on the passion, living for
Right.
somebody else, living for what society wanted me to do somehow. And coming here, being on my own, doing all of this thing had somehow made me realize this thing, like, who am I? That's what I've been trying to do since this past 5 years, figuring out who I am, what I actually want to do with life.
Hmm.
Most people don't think about it like that. We have
Hmm.
a series of things we have been building through our generations. Study, get good grades, get a job, get married, have kids, live a happy life or whatever life. That's the process, that's the line we have been teach from the very childhood, and we just follow that. We don't even sit down and think like, who am I? What actually I want to do? What do I actually love? You should
Right.
do that. That's what I feel. Again, it's not for everybody. Maybe not. Maybe if you're happy doing just following those rules, good for you, man. More power to you. But for someone like me, I'm just not that. From the very childhood, I have been like experimenting with life, exploring things, very open minded. And that's something that I tell me to, I think, make this decision. Again, it wasn't an easy decision. I didn't
Hmm.
talk to my father for almost 6 months because of
And
this.
that question is coming, like, how was the family reaction when you started changing a
Yeah.
career and moving to
My
photography?
dad is so disappointed in me. He was Now we are having kind of good chat, we are having good talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the point when that happened was when I told him that please don't die in disappointment just because your son didn't do what you want to do. And now we
Hmm.
are having the conversation back again. But for the 6 months, we didn't have any proper chat. I was just talking to my mom. My dad was depressed and disappointed in me back home because, like
Hmm.
his son, he was so proud. It was a very proud feeling for him that his son is an engineer coming from the low income family background that he came from, not being able to do what he wanted to do because of the family pressures and everything. So it was a proud moment for him. So when I said that I'm not going to be an engineer, I'm just going to follow my passion for photography and videography, it was a very hard decision on him and for me. And yeah, for the 6 months we didn't even talk properly.
Hmm.
But you have to make that sacrifices if you really want to follow your passion, if you really want to do what you want to do. That's the price
Right.
of it. But it's
Yep, it
also the
is.
fact that I understand their viewpoint. It's not that they don't support my passion or they don't love me or they don't love what I'm doing. It's just that they're worried that I'm just going to die homeless. They just don't
Yeah.
want that
Yep.
happening to me.
Yep. Yep. Our parents think about, covering the safety first kind of attitude. First go
Exactly.
for safety, get your living done and all that, and then you just do whatever you want to do. But then the life is finished. You can't do much. So yes, kudos
Yeah.
to you for the
And I
brave
exactly
step
get
you
that
have taken.
viewpoint. Yeah. The thing
Yeah.
is, I think the thing why they do that is because their life has been spent thinking about how to survive. how to meet the
Exactly.
basic needs. We
Yeah.
already had all of that. That's why
Mm.
I'm able to think beyond that about what do I want to do, what my passion is, and everything. They didn't have the time to think about all of that. They just had to think about
Mm.
how to survive, how to get by, you know. So I completely
Yeah.
understand their point, but in this case, I think I'm gonna have to be selfish, you know. I love them,
Yeah.
I care about them. I even have. This is a big thing. Like most people wouldn't have this kind of conversation with their parents, but I've even had this conversation where it's like you're going to be living for like 15 to 20 years from now. I'll be
Mm.
living 30, 40 more years. So I'm gonna
Exactly.
have to be selfish in this thing. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I love you, but I'm going to have to be selfish regarding the
Yeah.
career.
Exactly. No, no,
Yeah.
absolutely right. So let's talk about the career now. Let's say
Mm.
when you choose your videography career. So what you do as a videographer, like you do more of the occasionals or like weddings
Mhm.
and all that, or you do natural, or what's your niche in photography?
So I mostly do events and portraits. That's what I've built my
Mm-hmm.
portfolio so far. So any kind of events. I love concerts. As I said, I was a good guitarist. So it's like bringing that music and photography together. So I love concerts. I do that. I do events, weddings, like corporate events. I'm trying to get into real estate photography right now. But
Wow.
anything that has to be shoot through the lens, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing
Wow.
that. So yeah, I've registered my own business as lensgraphy, and I'm doing events, portraits, corporate jobs, and I'm just building it. It's very tough because no one around me is actually doing it. It's just me.
Oh,
All of my
really?
friends are, yeah, most of my friends, all of my friends are just in their
Engineers.
corporate jobs, 9 to 5. Somebody's engineer, somebody's something else, but none of them are entrepreneurs, or no one has like the mindset that I have. So it's kind of
Right.
difficult, but I'm reaching out to people. I'm surely getting help. There have been few
Mm-hmm.
people who have been helping me out. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get this thing, understand this thing, like being an entrepreneur, trying to do this thing on your own. It's like if you work a job, there's just certain things you have to do, and you just do that, and that's it. Being an entrepreneur, doing your own thing, you have to know everything. You need to learn about everything. So it gets
Yeah.
really overwhelming sometimes, but I just
Yeah.
need to remind myself that be patient, one step at a time. Don't think too much about future. Just keep going, keep doing, follow your passion, and you will make it. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I've
Do you
been
have
doing.
new creators doing videography, like boys and girls are in Australia who came from Nepal, overseas, anywhere, India,
Mm-hmm.
Nepal, Pakistan, anywhere, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get into this creator economy, like YouTube videos and the reels and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Do you sorts of help those people as well?
I haven't been in touch with those people, but I'm also trying to avoid my own community
Ah,
somehow
okay.
because they really want things to be done in cheap and they just have a lot of complaints. So, of course, if I'm getting a job, I'm doing it. But I'm trying to choose my like clients being very specific, because yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just not
So,
about the money thing. It's about like loving what you do. If I keep on getting
mm,
those cheap clients who have a lot of complaints, I'll start hating what I'm doing, and I don't want to do
mm.
that.
So, what's your view on this creator economy? Let's say, you are in that
Mm,
space. So, these days, the social media and the reels and YouTube and shorts and all that,
mm,
emerging in every day, and the creator economy is going crazy. So, are you,
mm.
looking, in that space that your business can thrive more towards that? Because a lot of
I've thought
people are
about it.
going to videography, right?
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep. So the content creator thing, content creator economy, you're talking about like YouTube and Insta and those things. It's a completely different ball game to what I'm doing right now. So I'm trying
mhm,
to establish a photography, videography business instead of being a content creator. I've tried that too.
right,
As I said, I used to make vlogs, like short movies and this and that, but it's a very long term game and it's very
mhm,
uncertain. So you can
mm,
start making videos. You can start. I used to do my own podcast too. I did it for almost a year, and
mhm,
it went good. But later on, I had to leave it due to my personal commitments. It's a different ball game. It's a long term game, and it's very uncertain because you don't
mm,
know when are you going to be able to get the finances out of that. When are you going to get the money out of that? So it's a very
mm,
long term game. You need to have some sort of backup so that you don't have to work and give your 100% in it, or
Mm-hmm.
you can just do it side by side as a passion and hope that someday something would blow up and you get something. But it's a very difficult thing to do, and I guess that's why I'm doing this as a photography videography business instead of a content being a content creator, because in this thing it's a business. You can get the finances, earn income by the years, so there's something rolling, there is something happening. But when you
Mm.
go into a content creator industry, it's like, as I said, it's uncertain when you will get the money out of it,
100%.
would you be able to be successful or not. But if you keep on doing it, of course you will be. And it's also like
Mm.
a, at the side by side, I will be doing that. Let's get this thing established, let's get things done. And the content creator economy, it's always there. I have my own YouTube channel, so I do post some kind of vlogs or videos from time to time, so that's also there. Yeah.
It's great. Amazing.
Mm.
So let's talk about some growth now, the entrepreneurship. So,
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur, could you please list some of the channel challenges you're facing as a new
Mm.
entrepreneur in the industry, and especially being in Australia, is there any specific struggles that related to because Australia is a less
Mm.
dense country, population wise, less population, so
Mm.
less work, so that sort of things is that impacting
Mhm.
the initial settlement of your business?
Yes, it is. It's a very competitive business. Like there are people who are. It's a very easy entry level. Like what's the word for that? It's very easy to enter the market. It's not that difficult to enter this market. Anyone with a camera could enter the market and just disrupt it with doing it in cheap prices. So it's very competitive. It's very hard to get the clients. You need to know the people, right kinds of people. You need to network. You need to go out there and build your network so that you are able to survive on this. I don't know if I'm going to ever be able to do that, but I just have to keep on trying and see if it actually works. So
Hmm.
it is very difficult. That's there. It's very difficult to figure out like how to manage your finances, how to manage your taxes and everything. You have to learn about that. As I said, being an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, you need to be aware about everything. You have to
Hmm.
hire people. What are the insurances? What are your liabilities? You have to figure those things out. Set up a business itself. So what are the difference between having a company or just registering your business name? So I have to learn all of that. I'm learning all
Yeah.
of that. So it
So
is kind of
being an
overwhelming. Yeah.
entrepreneur, yes, being entrepreneur is just not learning the skill, but it's also a lot of
No,
set of the skills, right?
no.
So
I
where
have
you
to
are
learn
right
how to
now in
be.
the skill set,
I'm at the
where you
very
are.
beginning, man. I'm at the very beginning of everything. I have been doing this for 2 years now, but there's still a lot I have to learn in terms of like photography and videography itself. Then
Hmm.
again, I have to learn about how to run a business. That's again a different ballgame. So
Right. Right.
I have to figure
Mhm.
out how to balance all of that, and it's very overwhelming sometimes.
Do you hire people or you just do everything by yourself?
Right now, I'm doing everything by myself, but my vision is to be able to hire people. So that's why I'm trying to create different portfolios. I'm trying to get into real estate as of now, so that if I have a portfolio and if there's a job that I can't go by myself, so I have a pool of like photographers and videographers that I could call to when I need them. So I'm trying to do it in that way.
Right, great. So let's say you've been in the business for 2 years and you know bit of a photography earlier. Let's say someone who
Hmm.
wants to start the photography is their passion and they want to start
Hmm.
the photography business from scratch today. What are the
Hmm.
first few steps you tell them that okay, I did that, but don't do it, do this way?
Hmm. I don't know what not to do, but I could tell you what to do, and that is
What to do?
go out
Yes.
and take as many pictures as you can. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way you are going to build your portfolio. You might have to go out and do some free gigs too, but be sure that people are not just using you. If you're going and doing some free shoots for someone, make sure you get some value out of it. Don't just go and just shoot just because you know just figure out again. You wouldn't know until unless you go in and do that, because I've been in there. I actually tried to start this business with a partner, a different guy who was just using me for his own benefits rather than actually bringing any value to the business. So I had to kick him out and start this again on my own. So things like that will happen, but you have to go out and just take pictures, do the gigs, do as many events as you can, or If you know exactly what you want to do, that's good for you. Focus on that. If you want to do events, do as many events as you can and build your portfolio on that. If you don't know what to do everything and figure out
Mm,
what you want to do, what you like, what you don't like, and build a portfolio. Do the freelancing jobs at first, because if you have enough money, maybe start hire people and do it. If
mm,
don't, if it's your passion, if you wanna do, or in future if you have a view that you are going to make your own business, develop a portfolio, whatever you
mm,
like. You know, see what jobs can you get based on what you have, what kind of skills you have, or what kind of gears you have. I used to do food photography before. That used to
wow,
give me some kind of money, but that's not
mhm,
something that I really want to do. That's not something of my interest, so I don't have a
mm,
portfolio for that, although I might have photos. So figure out what you want to do, and the only way to do that is by going out and taking pictures, learning from that. That's the way.
great.
Put in the hours,
So
put in
let's
the
say,
work.
yep, that's it. Easy, easy, easy is that. So let's say someone wants to hire you for your services.
Mhm.
How they can reach out to you?
So I've got my portfolio everywhere. So I have my own website, lensgraphy.com. I have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Lensgraphy is the name. So
Mhm.
photography, videography, everything is done through a lens. So it's
Mm,
Lensgraphy. That's my
wow,
business.
wow. That's great, amazing. And guys, I put the link of Bikesh's business in the description. So if you really want to reach out to Bikesh, I've got his contact details, his phone numbers, and everything's there. So please, if you need a photography or anything related to your functions or events, please contact Bikesh. Thank you, Bikesh, for
Thank
that.
you.
And
Thank you very
let's
much.
move on to the next stage of our
Mhm.
podcast. So let's talk about something about Australia. So Australia is
Mhm.
beautiful. It's known as a fantastic landscape of piece of landscape which attracts a lot of travelers and tourists every year.
Mhm.
Being a photographer and being Australian resident now, um, what are the some wow places you visited in Australia?
There are a lot of places, and actually, I've traveled a lot. After for the first 2 years studying here, I didn't get much chance to travel, but after that, I've traveled a lot. Actually, I
Hmm,
have road trips. Road trips are one of the best. I love them. So either
hmm,
hiring a camper van, RV, or just going in your own car. Road trips are one of the best. We have I've traveled almost from Noosa Top in the Queensland to all the way to Melbourne and Adelaide. So I've done all of that road trips, and
wow,
those are one of the best ones. Yeah, they're pretty awesome
wow,
places, man. If you
yes,
like nature, if you like being out there, it's pretty awesome, man. I'm very lucky to have those kind of crazy friends who travel for like 10, 11 hours in a day, and
oh
it's
my,
just never about the destination itself. It's just about the journey, traveling as many places as we could in the day.
right.
So yeah, I love that. One of the great places to be in. I don't like to go to actually to these places where it's like really overcrowded and that's just overrated. Like like Gold Coast. Oh, everyone Gold Coast, Gold Coast. It's like okay, I traveled through it. I watched it. That's it. Instead of going to those main places and main beaches, we'll just take some other routes to see like what's something that hasn't been visited by most people.
The actual
Just going
Australia,
out.
right?
Yeah, yeah, actually Australia, it's one of those main cities. If you're coming to Sydney, I wouldn't suggest anyone to just stick to like Opera House in Sydney Harbour. Go out there,
Mm,
go in the suburbs, go out to the
mm,
places where you could see, like there are so many beaches around there in Australia, but there are some of them which are completely unique to like other beaches. Like there's Marley Beach, which is nearby Wedding Cake Rock in the south. So it's like a desert in itself. It's a beach,
mm.
but it's so big that it's like a desert out there. So there are things
Wow.
like that. Explore
Mm,
those things. Go out to places like Bombo Head, where there are like structures of rocks made by water that are completely unique, and
mm.
something you might have never seen. Go out there, go on road trips, long trips, go to the places like Eden, Ulladulla, figure out waterfalls, snows.
Yes, yes, what not,
And the
right?
best thing is that roads have been built to reach all of those places, like pure good roads that you could go in your own cars. So
Hmm,
enjoy that.
perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Like the road trips are most beautiful thing in Australia. Yes,
Mm.
you're absolutely right. So, and would you prefer to travel with friends or you're a solo travel?
I mostly travel with my friends. That's something I've been trying to change right now. Actually, I've been looking for friends to go anywhere and do anything. But why? Why can't I just go there all alone and enjoy it? Because I used to be like that before. I used to
Hmm.
go on like bicycle rides all by myself, even like 50, 100 kilometers bicycle rides all by myself. What
Oh,
happened to me
wow.
now? Why am I so much dependent on others? That's what I'm thinking. Like recently, that's happening with me. So next
Hmm.
year, as I was saying, I want to travel. If I don't get anyone, I'm just going to travel solo. That's what I'm thinking. Even with the
Hmm.
concerts, like this year has been a lot about going to concerts, and like there's one concert that's coming in 26th of August, and I'm actually looking for someone else to go with. Like why do I need someone else to go with? Just go out there, get drunk, enjoy, have a good time by yourself, man. Who gives a fuck?
You will find the people there anyway. Someone will be there for
Yeah,
sure. So yeah, yeah, you're
exactly.
right.
Go out there, enjoy, man. Don't be dependent on someone else for you to enjoy your life. You can do it by yourself.
Correct, correct. So, Bikesh, could you please share particular story where you
Mm.
proud living in Australia? So you feel like, okay, thank God I'm in Australia.
Hmm. Being able to start my business again. Like I
Mm,
wouldn't have been able to do this back home. As I said, I wanted to be a musician back home, but I couldn't because there was no future, no scope for that there. And you come
mm,
here and you can be anything. You just need to have that skill. You just need to put in the work and you can do anything. And I'm grateful for that. Like I keep on reminding myself, like although I'm frustrated most of the times thinking about that I haven't been able to do the things I want to do. But I'm also
mm,
grateful for the fact that I am here. I can do things what I want to do. I have been able to start my own business and follow my passion and make a living out of that. I'm really grateful for that.
great, great, amazing. Thank you so much for that. And uh, one more thing that for our audience, for our viewers, like,
Mm.
what is the success mantra you want to give it to our audience that okay, this is somehow you get succeed in Australia. So, any success mantra for our viewers?
I don't know, man. I'm not successful yet, so I don't know
Come
if
on.
I have the idea of that. But I do have the way I look at it and I do it. It's basically be open minded, explore, put in the hard work, do what you love. Don't think about like what's going to happen or what your parents are going to say, what your friends are going to say, what the society is going to say. Do what you love. Try out,
Mm,
figure out. Don't die thinking, what if I had done that? Don't die thinking I should have tried. Try it, fail, and then die.
that's it.
That's it, man.
That's
Go
it.
out and do what you love. That's it.
Yeah. Anything you want to add on networking? Like, what is the importance of
Mm.
networking in Australia?
It is. It is very important, man. I'm trying to build up my network for my business. And even when I was a student, one of the things I was very proud of was I knew more people than the people who had been here for more than a year in a short period of time. Because that's very helpful. That's how I got a lot of my jobs through my networks. That's how I learned a lot about the culture and survival out here through my networks. And when people come here, they think like networking is like you go out network to find jobs. So as soon as you know someone, if they give you a job, that's all right. Otherwise, you don't want to have any chat with them. You don't want to network with them. But that's not how networking works. Networking
Mm,
is just being out there, knowing people, letting them know that you exist. That's networking. And sooner or
right.
later, that builds up when you have this communication, when you talk to them, keep on talking. Because let's say I have a job, right? Who would I call? The person who has been talking to me, right? If you come and
Correct.
talk to me, ask for a job one day and then vanish and never talk again, I'm not going to call you when I have a job. You know,
Absolutely.
you need to
Yeah.
keep on going there, keep the ball rolling. Now there's social media. Just whenever they post a picture, say hi, hello, thank you, congratulations, whatever. Keep that conversation going. Keep on reminding people that you exist.
Mm,
And sooner or later, you will get the jobs, you will get those opportunities. And when you get them, grab them. Don't let them go. That's
Yeah.
one of the things I talked about in the TEDx talk too, where I said that you miss 100% of the opportunities that you don't take.
Yeah.
And that's what I've
Exactly.
been doing through my whole life experience life. Like as I said, the university has paid more for me in my accommodation and travels than the scholarship itself, because I was
Mm.
grabbing every opportunity that I got.
So let's talk about the TEDx talk. So,
Mm-hmm.
in a being in very young age,
Mm-hmm.
you've been to TEDx talk, and it's been a dream for many people in the world to be on the TEDx talk, and they might not get the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So, how was that journey? How you got to the TEDx? How you become a TEDx speaker?
Mm-hmm. So being a TEDx speaker wasn't a dream for me. It was an opportunity that I got and I took it. That's
Wow.
how I would put it. But it's also the fact that I had been going out getting whatever opportunities I got. I was very active in university. So it was basically a TEDx talk organized by my own university, CQ University. So
Mm-hmm.
I was very active. I was exploring. I knew a lot of people out there. I was networking, and I guess that's how I even got a chance or even a call to, like be a speaker when they were looking for speakers, because I was active there. I was exploring out there, and basically I got that opportunity. You had to apply for it. You had to make the video, right, about your what you want to talk about and this and that. So basically, there's a process you have to go through to become a speaker. So I went through that, and it was a fun thing to do. Like
Mm.
talking about that on stage, about my story and sharing it with so many people on such a big platform. It was a big opportunity, and I'm very glad that I took
It
it
was
instead.
great. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I'll leave the link of this TEDx
Mm,
talk as well, guys. It's worth listening. It was, and especially for the international students, like what
yeah.
you should do and what you shouldn't do, just to go out of your
Mm,
comfort zone and how to make the maximum out of your student life. That
yeah.
was Bikesh's talk in TEDx, and because
TEDx.
I want to appreciate it again. It was so
Mm,
motivating and so a lot of fully loaded with the information that an international
mm,
student need. So definitely, I highly recommend everyone watching that. And
mm.
well done, great job within that TEDx talk, because I
Thank you,
cannot
man. Thank you.
appreciate enough for the work you have done. Like, amazing.
Yeah, and the thing with the TEDx talk was those were some of the things that I actually believe and follow. And there are times where I'm not feeling good or when I'm down, I actually go back and look at that video about me talking myself, like thinking, okay, these are the things you believe in, man. These are the things you
Hmm.
should be doing. Go out there and do that. So it's kind of motivating to myself watching my own talk
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
great.
Yeah.
Great. And during that talk, you just said one thing. There was a crazy photograph
Mm,
of you yourself, playing a guitar in a Joker face,
yeah.
and you
Yeah.
were saying that I will show my grandkids, this photograph.
Exactly.
So that's what your grandfather looked like. So what was that concept? I didn't get it.
That's whole concept of my life, I guess. I don't want a I need money to survive. I need money for all of the daily lives and daily things, but experiences and moments are what I want to have in life, so that
Mm.
I could talk about in my deathbed about, yeah, man, I did that and I did that too. Oh, yeah, I did that one too, man. That's the kind of like thing I want to
Excellent.
have in life, experience
Great.
everything, explore everything, because you're only living once. Like, and I would like to call myself a jack of all and master of none. And instead
Mm.
of thinking of it as a bad thing, I would say that that's my talent. I don't have a talent in one specific field, but I'm a jack of all and master of none, and that's my talent. And that's what I want to
Amazing.
do with life. Explore
Amazing.
everything as much as I can.
Excellent, man. So, all right. So, just to explore that your Australian journey, we have a
Mm,
rapid fire round, design.
okay.
So, we'll be quickly go through that and then just
Okay.
answer. If you want to pass it, pass it. It's entirely up to
Okay.
you. So, what's your favorite Aussie slang word or phrase?
All the time. Dickhead.
All right. Okay. The best beach in Australia for a great weekend getaway.
This beach. Ooh. I'm not much of a beach guy, man, but I would say Marley Beach again. That's a unique beach to
Not a
go
beach.
to.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your favorite Aussie food?
Vegemite if you know how to eat it properly.
Oh yes, exactly.
You need to
That's
know how to
that's
eat it
that's the next
properly.
question. Next question coming. The Vegemite is like a quick one. Team terms of Vegemite.
Yeah. Team time or Vegemite? Mm, I'd go to Vegemite, I guess.
Vegemite, great. Sunrise at the beach or hiking in the mountains?
Both, man. I love both of them. But if
Both
I
of
have
them.
to
Wow.
choose one,
Great.
maybe hiking. Hiking is better.
Hiking, great. Place
Yeah.
a name in Australia where you haven't been yet but want to go for sure.
Perth and Kimberley.
Kimberley. Wow, great.
Yeah.
And why?
Landscapes, man. I haven't been to Taji too, man. I want to go there too, like on a 1 week
Oh,
vacation. That's on my list
oh
too.
my, great. Uh, all right, your favorite festival or event you have attended in Australia?
New Year's Eve in Sydney. That's a big one.
Perfect, perfect. Share a word or phrase in your native language that perfectly describe your journey in Australia.
Something in my native language that explains the journey I have had in Australia.
Your entire Australian journey in Australia.
That's a difficult one. So something in my own native language.
Native language, yeah, yeah, your language that describes your, like, okay, some there are some sayings, there are some
Mm.
songs or lines of the songs that completely matches your life. Let's say zindagi aisi paheli hai or something like that, whatever.
I have it in English actually. I can't
Okay,
find
go for it,
anything
go
in.
for it, go for it.
It's my life by Bon Jovi.
All right, wow,
That's it. It's my
amazing,
life. It's now or never. I want to
great,
live whatever the song lyrics.
at
It
the
actually
fullest,
matches
at the
like what I
fullest.
want to do
Yeah,
with my life. Yeah.
great. So share a uniquely Australian trait or a habit you have picked up.
Certain trait or habit. My food, I guess. The food kind of food I eat. Like I don't need the regular dal bhat that we eat back then. Like I want
Right.
bread.
All right. Would you mind sharing mate movement in Australia that's felt you the true spirit of mateship in Australia?
What do you mean by that? Like
The mate movement, any friendship moment that you had with any of your
that
Aussie or any friends in Australia?
that would be like when I was working as a social innovation ambassador for uni because that was the time where I used to meet a lot of other people, and we have our own team of like 5 change champion ambassadors from different regions in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and we met together in Melbourne after a
Mm.
year of knowing each other through online. So that would be one of those moments.
Mm. All right. So great. Describe a hobby or an activity which you have taken up since coming to Australia that you have never thought you would.
Habit or activity?
For
Going to
me,
the
it's
beach,
drinking.
I guess. Swimming. It's a big one, but I guess swimming in the beach because I have never done that before, and actually I don't do it much, but I actually loved it. Like I love to learn surfing, but the thing is I don't even know swimming. Yeah, going to the beach
Right.
surfing, that sounds like a really fun activity to do.
Fun activity to do. Yes, it's great. Right.
Mm.
Okay. If you would like to invite an Aussie celebrity for dinner at your home, who
Mm.
would that be?
Angus Young from ACDC.
Oh, great. Amazing. Cricket or footy?
I don't know much about footy, and neither do I watch cricket, so I would go with soccer, football.
Great. All right. Funniest or most awkward moment when you're trying to explain something in your native language to Aussie? Let's say for me, when I first came to Australia, it was just a sweets
Mm,
that I was trying to explain, like, what is this? And I couldn't even
mm.
explain. So, what is the funniest moment?
The way shit. Because
Right.
like we don't use toilet paper there, we just use water, and we have a different way of doing that. So yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So, so
Uh,
describe your reaction at the first time when you saw a kangaroo.
when did I see the kangaroo first? Like in the real life, I must have seen it somewhere in the wild itself, because I didn't went to the zoo to see it. I
Mm-hmm.
must have seen it in the wild. There was this moment when we were in an RV trip, and out of nowhere, like we were just traveling in the middle of the road. The sun was
Mm-hmm.
setting at this side, and there was like green grass fields, and we just saw the bunch of kangaroos just hopping around, and we just stopped the vehicle right there, and we just stopped there, went out, and just watched them in the sunset, in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome moment out there, man.
Wow, amazing. And for me, it's like that amazing moment came after 7 years I came into Australia. I was
Mm-hmm.
living throughout, Sydney. I initially landed in Sydney. And when I came to
Mm.
Australia, like after 7 years, first time I've seen a kangaroo in the wild. So for me,
Mm.
the moment came a little later, but yeah, eventually it was. Okay, next question. You have already answered that, but yes, still I will ask
Yeah.
like beach volleyball or surfing lessons.
Surfing lessons, man. I would love to learn surfing.
Hmm. Then share a memorable only in Australia moment that you have ever experienced.
Traveling road trips. Like there are roads to reach everywhere. Good, well maintained roads. I love that.
All
Road
right.
trips.
So describe the best road trip within Australia.
The RV trip that we did in that was also in 2021, I guess. We were out for like 5, 6 days with the RV, and we started from here. We went to Canberra, and we went to the Great Ocean Drive. And our plan was basically to do the Great Ocean Drive, go to Melbourne, and again come through the coastal lines all the way to Sydney. But
Mm,
as we were doing the Great Ocean Drive trip, it started raining, and we were like, what are we going to see if we just keep on doing this coaster ride? It's just raining. So this
right.
thought came into my mind that if it's raining, waterfalls must be good right now. So we completely changed our trip plan and went from there
Mm,
to some kind of waterfalls. Then we went into Falls Creek in Melbourne to see the snow, and then came back to Sydney. So yeah, that was one of the best trips. Like we are always like that, very spontaneous, very instantaneous. We have certain plans, but it could change at any time.
that's great. That's so unplanned trips. Basically, you love unplanned
Yeah,
trips, right?
I love those. Yep.
That's great. That's great. And
It's just
last
that
one.
it's not about the trip or the destination itself. It's about the people you go out with, I guess, and the journey you
Exactly.
make together and the moments and memories you make together. I think that's what I love more and most than, okay, I visited this place or reaching this place. It's just
Mm,
the journey of being with those friends.
mm, amazing. No, that's great. These are the best journeys. Yes, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right. Like the people, the company matters, right? Rather than the
exactly.
places. The journey matters. Okay, great. That's why we
Exactly.
name our podcast My Australian Journey.
Yep.
All right. So last rapid fire question is like top choice of your Aussie souvenirs that you want to send to the friend overseas.
All the souvenirs. Something related to kangaroos, I guess.
Hmm.
Kangaroo jerky
Kangaroo,
meat,
the
maybe.
fluffy kangaroo,
Yeah. No, kangaroo
koala,
jerky, kangaroo meat,
koala,
maybe.
koala, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Right. So, what
Yeah.
about the family? Are you single or you're living with family here in Australia?
No, I'm still single actually. Trying to figure out my life, trying to figure it out myself. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
the 5 years have been spent on. Like
No
I have
girlfriends?
I have thought about no, I have thought about getting one, but it just lasts for a week or two, and then I was like, yeah, I really don't need one. Actually, I'm good with myself. And it's also that I want to figure out myself properly before I'm able to like share this life with someone else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm on the journey of, like figuring out myself, what I like, what I don't like, all of those things. That's what I'm doing right now.
Let's understand this space because yeah, I have very few guests who are single on our podcast.
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
most of the mature guests. So let's talk
Hmm.
about the space getting married. So I had a guest earlier, and then we discussed about the
Hmm.
marriage. Like as a young fellow in Australia, and being a
Hmm.
migrant, and being in this space. So What sorts of vibes you get for the partners, due to the cultural
Hmm.
differences
Hmm.
and all that?
Look, it depends on the people. There is no right or wrong way to look at this, but it's
Mm,
just that I don't want to get married for the sake of getting married. I don't want to get married because all of my friends are getting married.
mm,
Like I want to find the right kind of partner for me, like the way I am. Like I'm weird, I'm crazy, so I would love
mm,
someone who could understand that, or who could get a little weird with me, who's
mm,
open-minded, who's exploratory, who knows how to communicate properly. I don't
mm,
care what she has studied, what's her background, what's her family is like, or whatever. I just want to know what that person is like in itself, and that can that person be comfortable with me? Does that person has that communication skills so that we could
mm,
negotiate when we have a conflict out there? So it's just
mm,
hard to find someone like that, or I actually haven't tried to find properly someone like that because I'm so much busy with my career and figuring out myself and my own life. But it also gets very lonely sometimes, being on your
mm,
own, being single, away from parents who don't have much of anyone to talk to throughout the day. So it gets sometimes very isolated and lonely. But I love my freedom more than anything else. And
yeah.
when I came in here in 2018 at the age of 25, I guess that's when I felt the most freedom, where I didn't have to depend upon my parents. I didn't have to learn or listen to anyone or anybody, and I wasn't ready to just give up on that freedom by getting married. Now, people will
Mm,
say that it shouldn't be like that, but believe me, man, once you're married, you have the responsibility of a partner. You
of
can't do
course.
whatever you want with your time or money or resources, because you have to think about someone else. Someone else is there with you. But when you're single, you just have the freedom. Like I could go anywhere. I could go to a different city now. I could go to a different country right now, and I just don't have to worry about anybody else because they don't have
Mm,
to tag along with me. I'm just alone. I have the freedom. So I love that freedom, and that's what I have been enjoying till now. But as
mm,
I'm in my 30s, now I'm starting to look out for like if I could find the right partner and then get married. So it's there. I'm just in no hurry right now.
all right. What about family pressure?
There is a little bit, but I have made this thing, whatever I just told you, clear that this is what I'm looking for. I'm just not getting married just because someone else is getting married or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
it's like they were so much worried that I might never get married. So I have told them, yes, I want to get married. I will get married someday. It's just like with the right person in the right time. I'm just in no hurry.
Yeah. How about the dating culture in Australia? You've been young, you've been there,
Mm,
out there for, in university, and after that, so many
mm.
exploration sites and all that. So, can we please discuss about the dating culture in Australia? How is it going? Is it healthy enough, or it's not really?
Depends upon people, I guess. As I said, I was just so much busy with my own personal life, career, and figuring out myself. I didn't care about that part, like dating. I went out on few dates. I have dated a few people out here, but it never continued for a long term because I could never find the right person, I guess. But it's kind
Hmm.
of good. It's healthy. Like there isn't that conservative, or like what's the word for that, like we have back in our country, like dating like before marriage or meeting different guys, like kind of a bad reputation out there. It's not that here. It's like people are open
Hmm.
minded. They're okay with.
Hmm.
That's the point of dating, like going out and meeting people and figuring out like what would you love and what would you not love in your partner. And that's how
Hmm.
you figure out like what you actually want and find the right partner and try and move on with that. So that's a very good culture, and it's very good out here. They
Hmm.
have like speed datings and dating events and everything out here. I just
I know.
haven't
So
tried it.
I
I
just
never
want
did.
to talk about it. I want to talk about it. So, like, there are a lot of dating events, dating websites,
Yeah.
dating things. So, not just your experience, maybe your friends and the people
Mm,
you see out there. We have heard some horror stories for dating sites and dating, online dating and
mm.
all that. So, have you, like heard anything about that sort of stories?
Well, I have heard a few, maybe not with my own friends, but that's the thing about going on apps like Tinder and stuff. You never know what kind of person is that. You can't figure out what the person is looking at their pictures and just what they have rated. have to meet
mm,
them, spend some time with them, and then you figure out what kind of person is that. And even then, maybe you won't until and unless you actually live with them in the same room. I don't think you could
mm,
figure out what the person actually is like. So be careful, especially for girls. Like be careful.
mm,
You can't just trust anyone just like that. Be
mm.
careful out there.
Yeah,
But
good advice.
it's also a good thing, as I said, like go out and have dates in like public places where you're safe, where there couldn't be anything wrong, and do that for
Mm,
a while. Then you'll figure out what kind of person that is, how it is, and yeah, move on with that. Go out, explore, experiment.
amazing, amazing piece of advice. Thank you so much for that. So, basically, let's say now we are going towards the conclusion part of our podcast. So,
Mm.
before we end up, I just have a few questions that what is the ultimate happiness for you?
I actually not figured this out, but I have the like four things that I need in my life to be happy or to be successful. That's like first priority should be your health. Take care
Hmm.
of your physical and mental both. So health
Yeah.
should be there. You need some kind of your finance and you need some kind of career. Those are two
Hmm.
things for me right now because I do a different thing for finances and my career I want to build in photography and videography. So I'm just starting that. So I want to merge those two. Third
Hmm.
thing would be family and friends. Have a family, have close, good friends. And you don't need a lot of them. If you have like two or three of your best friends whom you can go and talk to about anything and they won't just judge you and they're actually happy on your success instead of being jealous of your success, that's all you
Hmm.
need.
Right.
That's I think that's all the formula of success for me. I need to have
That's
the balance of those three or four things, and that's
hmm.
it.
Great. Amazing. And let's say the one thing we discussed that you love about Australia, and then one thing that would you like to change in Australia.
Thing I love about Australia is the cultural diversity, I guess. There are a lot of
Hmm.
things I love, like cultural diversity, the kind of opportunity, the systematic things that I have. That's one of the best things that I love here. Like, even if you're getting a child, people actually first have a plant, then they have a dog, then they have their baby. Because that's like a systematic way of learning how to manage that. To get your
Right.
license, you have to first have your L plate, then you drive take the license, pass the test, you get the red P, then another 2 years in green P, then you get the full license. So that kind of
Right.
systematic process where they have it here, I really love that about this country. Something that I don't like, the way they have been using education and international students as a cash cow.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's something I have
Needs
like
to
a
be changed.
complaint
Yeah.
about or something. Yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
change in that maybe.
Let's talk about more about the immigration system. So, and this is a pretty
Mm.
most common question that I ask to my every guest. That
Mm.
let's say if you want to change something in Australian immigration system, you have a power to change something. What is that thing that you want to change in the Australian immigration system?
Mm. I don't know, man. Not much into that right now, so I have no idea. But if I could change
From
something,
your own experiences, yeah.
yeah, maybe the way you're giving your permanent residencies right now, how you
Yeah, yeah,
keep on
that's what
changing it.
something I want to discuss. Like what that thing that is
Mm,
painful for others. No, maybe not for you, but you see all other friends and other people around Australia that they're struggling, and if they change a little bit, I'll give an example like skills assessment.
mm,
Right? You have studied a
mm,
master's degree from Australia, then why the hell you need to do the skills assessment here? If
mm,
it's overseas skill, yes, you need to check whether it's
mm,
meeting the Australian requirements,
mm,
right? But if
mm,
this is Australian degree, you gain it from CQU. Why the hell you need to
mm,
assess it, right?
yeah.
That's one extra step and one extra cost they are implementing on
Yeah.
students or
There are
migrants.
there are a lot of those things, I guess. Like the
Talk about
system
it.
has been built in such the system has been built in such a way that they are going to make you as much they are going to suck as much money as they can out of you and make it as
Yeah.
difficult as it can be, and get the
Mm,
money and kick you out. So maybe if you
mm,
could change something around that, that would be great.
yeah. And especially, like with the parents' visas, we have been seeing that a lot of fees that you have to pay. Still, even after
Mm.
paying the fees, you don't get the outcomes. Partner
Oh,
visas, that
that's so
yeah,
tricky. Let me give you an
isn't
example
it?
of what
Like
just happened right now. So,
$55,000 you gotta pay.
I was actually trying to bring my parents, my brother here.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied for their visa, paid all the fees. Then they asked me to do the biometrics. And on the day of doing the biometrics, after paying everything, they canceled. I got a letter saying that my brother's visa was rejected. So they were waiting till
Oh,
the time they did the biometrics and paid that to say
biometrics
that.
to the
So yeah,
tricky, yeah, tricky,
yeah,
yeah, yes,
they're going to
right.
make you pay, man. Yeah.
All right. So last question of the podcast is: what is the most valuable
Mm.
lesson that you have learned since moving to Australia?
Hmm. Being independent, being to live on your own, being able to deal with all of the mental and physical and all sorts of frustrations and depression and everything, I think that has taught me the value of life, of the value of things that actually matter. Like I said, health,
Mm,
family, those are the things that matter at the end of the day. It's not that how much money you have or how many hours you work and earn money or what kind of degree you have. The experiences, memories, life. That's I think that's one of the most valuable lessons
that's what
that
matters,
I've
right?
learned by being on my own here.
Excellent, excellent. Because thank you so much for all the answers and fun questions and everything.
Yeah,
It's been a great podcast for us. Thank you so
it
much
is, and
for
thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
uh, it was fun. I know it was amazing. With you, there was a fun conversation, and it's fantastic. And we would
Mm,
like to see you again in our podcast whenever you have a chance. Please come back to our
sure,
podcast and guide our viewers with your amazing journey in Australia. And you have done great. And we
sure,
wish that you keep growing. You keep, being one of the best photographer in Australia. And yeah,
thank you.
we will have a chance someday to see you personally when we are in Sydney and have a good photo
Sure,
shoot with you.
sure. I'd love to do that. Thanks for having
Thank
me,
you.
man. It was fun. I had a great time.
Thanks. Same here. Thank you so much.